Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to my channels, Cocktails and Rocktails with Notorious Groupie Allison Rouse. That would be me. For those of you who don't know or just stumbling on my channel, I am the author of We've Got Tonight, The Life and Times of Notorious Groupie. Very notorious groupie, part of rock and roll history. Link where you can get my book, my merchandise, everything, the cocktail or beer of the day. There's always going to be a link down in the description, so hit that description up because there's cool stuff happening down there. Like I say, go down, not in the tap 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 kind of way, but go down there. Yeah. And thank you guys for all the love and support over the past few weeks. For those of you who follow me on social media, you know I've been absent for a couple weeks because I was on a memorial trip for my mother with my family. And my sweet Suki that you guys have seen in some of my videos, my cat, passed away while I was gone. So it's been a few weeks since I've even been able to record or anything. I had a wonderful time with my family at the beach. Got to swim with dolphins, which was really awesome. Well, not swim with them. They were a little ways away from us, but pretty close. And some of my family and I were swimming out to get closer to them. The rest of the family's on the beach pointing out, you know, they're like, and we're like, yeah, we see the dolphins, we're going out. And no, there was a shark that was following those dolphins, so we went back in. Yeah. But it was a really beautiful time to be with my family. It was so awesome. And thank you guys for, you know, dealing with me being gone for a couple of weeks. I appreciate it like no tomorrow. So, okay. Anyway, today we are going to get into a question and answer because I have a lot more questions that people want to know. I just need to have a place where I can keep track of them because I have them in different private messages and comments and stuff, and I have to go through and kind of find out where they all are. So I'm going to try and figure out a place where we can just put all the questions and then I can come and answer them and keep them all organized. So thanks guys for all the questions, and today we're going to do one of my favorite locals. You guys see me drinking this all the time. Utter Chaos again from Talisman Brewery up here in Ogden in Salt Lake City, or in Utah. So link to these guys are down in the description. Find out if you have them locally where you live, because these guys are awesome. They rock. All right, everybody, so let's get into this question and answer. Grab your udders, kick up your feet, and let's have a little cocktails and rocktails, shall we? Cheers, big ears. Oh, so good. Love it, love it. An easy drinking stout. And sorry if it's taking me a minute to get back in the swing of things. Like I said, it's been a few weeks since I've even filmed, so gotta get back in the swing of things for a while. All right, so first question I'm going to answer is a really good question. Where did I get the name of my book? Yeah, great question. So, kind of a little bit of a story. When I first started shopping agents to shop my book, you could only query a couple at a time, and so while you're waiting the 2-3 months before you query a couple more, I was like, I cannot not have a name for my book, and I just could not figure out a really good name until one morning I was coming home after hanging out with a band bass player that I don't talk about, and I was a little bit hungover, and I was driving back to my place, and all of a sudden on the radio comes Bob Seger, of course, We've Got Tonight. And I was just sitting there listening to it, and I thought, oh my God, this is fucking it right here. This is the title, because it described what I wanted to put in my book, which was the kind of more fun part. I didn't want to get too personal in my book. I just wanted it to be fun. The sex, drugs, rock and roll, the parties, the laughter, not the heavy emotional. So We've Got Tonight really fit that perfectly. But at the same time, I was like, that's just not enough. It really isn't enough. We've Got Tonight. Great title, but it just doesn't, I don't think it'll grab as much. So I was, at the time, there was a CBS radio stations, it was one of the anniversaries of John's passing, and on all their websites it said he was with Notorious Groupie Allison Rouse. I thought, well, fuck, there it is. I'm notorious now. Woo! That goes perfectly well with my scandalous infamy. So I thought, why the hell not? Embrace it. We've got tonight, The Life and Times of Notorious Groupie Me. So that's kind of how it took me a few months to kind of put We've Got Tonight with, Notorious Groupie. Because like I said, I just thought it was great. And I thought also at the same time, Notorious would be like, why is she so notorious? And, kind of make it a little more tawdry and fun than just I'm with the band. Because I'm with the band to me kind of was very, very egotistical, as to where We've Got Tonight totally describes rock and road, life on the road. You never know where you're going to be the next night. We've got tonight, so you've got to make the most of it. And this book, really, you guys, isn't even half the story. It's just the ones that I thought were interesting and the best ones to put in my book. There's still like this much more of this much of the book going on. And there will be a second one. That is a question I do get a lot. Yes, I've been on and off writing for years on a second book. But I'm just kind of trying. It's really hard for me to kind of figure out where I want to go with this book and how I want to start. Because once I decide where I'm going to go with the second book, then I can start really the actual beginning. I've written bits and pieces to go into the book, but not the beginning. And once I start the beginning for the second book, I think it'll flow better. But life happens and things go crazy and you get busy, so I haven't had a lot of time to really actually write the second book. So, but I do have a great title. It says, And She Was. I don't know if I'll add anything because, it's a Talking Heads song. The world was moving. She was right there with it, and she was. So, and I think it'll be kind of a good follow-up. I kind of want to start it more from the day when John died, because if you read the book now, I kind of stopped my adventures at 2002. And I did that on purpose. Not because my groupie life stopped in 2002. Obviously it didn't, because there's pictures of me and other musicians and passes that come after John's passing. And I still hang out backstage, very particularly to bands that I've been friends with for a long time, or roadies or whatever, people that I know for a really long time. My birthday, my friend Oris is going to be in town. Everybody knows how much I love my Oris. We've been friends for so long, and just platonic friends, but he's a wonderful guy and one of my oldest friends, so I get excited to see him. But, so yeah, I mean, yes, I will be writing a book too. It's kind of been a work in and out of progress for several years now. But I have the title, and I kind of think where I'm going to go with it, because I'm definitely going to start it for after 2002 and present how my life as a groupie evolved when I didn't think it could evolve anymore, and I evolved into something different than a groupie. So it's kind of the plot of the second book. So that answers kind of a couple questions that everybody's been asking me. All right, so this one is a good one. I like this one because I did do a vlog on this story, but I'll put it down in the description with everything else, a link to that vlog. So, did I ever hook up with a guy from a female singer band? Yes. Her fiance. Well, she was on stage, and we were standing on the side of the stage, and I would make out with him, and Kristen would make out with him, then I would make out with him, then Kristen would make out with him, because I was originally attracted to her bass player, but the more he kind of opened his mouth, the more I was just like, aren't you boring as a box of rocks, sweet pea? So it was Lita Ford. So everybody says that Lita Ford is the baddest bitch in metal. Oh, no, I beg to differ. It was Kristen and I that night. We were making out with her ex-fiance, Chris Holmes, on the side of the stage while she was playing. Yeah. She couldn't do a damn thing. So, yeah, that's one of the times I hooked up. And Phil Boderat, the old drummer who passed away several years ago for White Zombie, Sean, she was the bass player of White Zombie at the time. God, were there other... I'm sure there were. I'll just have to think about it. You can't expect me to remember everything in 30 years of rock and roll, 30 plus years. So yeah, but I'll put the link down to that story in the description about that night with Lita and Chris Holmes, because we'd already known Chris Holmes. If you watch the movie Decline of Western Civilization Part 2, The Metal Years, Chris, when he's jumping in his pool, is like, they're talking about groupies. He's like, the best groupies were in Salt Lake City. And we were like, woo, yeah, we are. And we had a reputation because Salt Lake City was the groupie capital of the world at the time. So we had already known Chris, and we just sort of saw him sauntering backstage, and I was like, hey, how you doing? Yep. Kristen and I made out with Lita Ford's fiance right in front of her face. Oh, we were some girls with some cojones the size of Australia, pretty much. Yeah. Okay, so let's go on to another one. This one, I was trying to do a vlog on this one individually, but I just really couldn't get enough time for it. So somebody asked me they want to know more about, because in the most recent vlog, one of the more recent vlogs I ran so far away, I talk about running away from the press, the aftermath of the press, how it doesn't stop, how I sued Roger Daltrey. Somebody wanted to know more about this. So Roger and the band, they don't hang out off stage. So Roger doesn't really know me except for when we were all hanging out on the 1989 tour and he was with Danny. So like I said, they don't hang out off stage. They're not friends off stage. A lot of bands are like this. So after John died, Roger, as I call him, we'll call him the Shire-dwelling mouth jockey because he's short and he shoots off his fucking mouth, kept calling me prostitute, hooker in interviews. And I was just so sick of it because I had my hands full already of taking legal action, because I was never a hooker, never a prostitute, never a murderer. So I went to my lawyer and I was like, I need to do this. I need to sue Roger, because if he keeps saying it, it's going to make it true, because people think that he would know everything about John's death when he knew nothing. And I thought, this is where I need to spend my time right now, is suing Roger, because I need his little fucking Shire-dwelling ass to shut the fuck up. Pretty much. So we got everything together. We ended up sending an initial fax to Bill Kerbishley, the band's manager, saying, hey, tell Roger this is going to happen and this is my intention. So we sent the cease and desist and intent to sue letter to the management, which got to Roger. Then his lawyer out of New York, I'll put pictures up of, probably somewhere in here in the video, I'll put pictures up of like the envelope and the settlement letter and stuff. So I had to sue him over one article only, and it happened to be one of the magazines that Paul Reese, who wrote the book about John, was working at. Yeah, you fucking asshole, Paul Reese. Anyway, so we sent out the cease and desist letter. My lawyer and his lawyers went back and forth for a while till we came to an agreement. And my initial letter was absolutely clear. I do not seek any financial compensation for this. All I wanted was a public apology, a personal apology, and pay my lawyer on the way out. So he would have to send the magazine a retraction, which it was printed this tiny little traction in the back because Paul Reese's fucking pussy hurt that day. And they didn't want to be seen as a Mojo Q magazine, classic rock. Yeah, they didn't want to be seen as just music tabloids, which pretty much was. So that all happened. But when I had him actually served for the lawsuit, because I thought this would just kick him in the nads so hard, that I had him served at the show in Las Vegas. This was around 2010, I believe. 2008 to 2010, somewhere around there. So I waited a long time because I would tell Cy, you need to tell Roger to shut the fuck up. Roger, again, shooting off his little mouth, just riding that horse fast as he could. Shut the fuck up, Roger. So I had him served in Las Vegas. And the next show that they were playing was here in Salt Lake City. Needless to say, I wasn't invited to the show, but I didn't give a fuck because I wanted to let Roger know, hello, I'm coming for you. And the irony of having him served in Las Vegas, then him to have to come to Salt Lake City and looking over his shoulder to see if I was going to be there was driving him nuts from what I heard. And that's exactly what I wanted. But we settled out of court. There was no contest from Roger, except for the fact that I'm not going to give you any financial compensation. Well, you little bitch, I wasn't fucking asking for any. Like I said, he's Shire-dwelling mouth jockey. So we settled out of court. He had to do the stuff. I have that letter that I showed you guys and that I ran so far away. I'll put pictures of it around this video so you guys can see. So yeah. And it really was like a month to 2 months, I think, was all the time just kind of going back and forth. It was very like quick, easy, quick in and out because he knew I wasn't a hooker, prostitute, or murderer. And Cy even told him. Cy told him off over that because Roger called Cy. He's like, that bitch is suing me. Damn right I am. You were not the first and you were not the last. So yeah, that was kind of me suing Roger Daltrey. I wanted to prove a point to him by having him served, specifically in Las Vegas. And I told my lawyer to do this because I knew that he was going to be looking over his shoulder the whole time they were in Salt Lake City. So, but I won uncontested like I always do. Because I was never hooker, prostitute, murderer, druggie. I don't do cocaine. And I didn't bring it in the room that night. I'm a lot more boring and wholesome than you guys think a stripper groupie is. And apparently Roger. So, yeah, that's me suing Roger Daltrey. Good times. Oh, and I'm going to save this one for last. Oh. Am I married or single? Well, I am currently, by choice, single. I've come to a point in my life where I've just decided to die celibate and alone, to be honest. Because guys never tell me the truth. The last relationship I was in, he slept with an ex-girlfriend the night before I gave up everything and moved to his shit town to be with him. And kept going with 23 side whores and who all went on my Amazon page and was trying to destroy me, and they were bullying me and all this shit. And it destroyed my life. So since then, and the next guy that I tried to date, I said, be honest with me. What's going on in your life? Oh, I'm single. I've got nothing to do. Oh, blah, blah, blah. When you put somebody's phone number in your name, they come up as a friend suggestion on Facebook. Well, I learned that he did have a girlfriend that he had been living with for 15 fucking years. So I just don't date anymore because I'm tired of being this one-dimensional creature to guys that I've been in relationships and them being so scared and intimidated and judgmental of my past and my book. Because I don't sit in my relationships talking about the contents of my book or other guys or no. I'm focused on that man, the here, the now, what we're doing together. When I'm in a relationship, I'm absolutely 100% faithful, loyal. I'm a great woman in a relationship, but I just have been so destroyed over the time that I'm like, fuck this. I'm gonna stay single because there's not one man that I've been in a relationship with outside of the Rockers, because the Rockers have always been honest and open with me and I with them, and I've always had a comfort and a trust among the Rockers. But I'm talking about my actual relationships which have been actually with non-rocker guys. And just such dishonesty, cheating, verbal abuse. I was forced to do things against my will and held by the back of my neck sexually. So kind of turned me off of relationships, and I didn't have sex for 3 years. And then the next guy I did have sex with that I was trying to date again lied to me, and then my mom was dying and all he cared about is, when are you coming out to see me on the road, babies? I'm not coming to see you out on the road. I'm sitting next to my mom's deathbed. So because these guys see me as what they want me to be, and I've been so one-dimensional that I've just given up. Like I said, I'll die celibate and alone. You know, now that James Hetfield is single, if he needs to have a rebound, fuck yeah, baby. But what I have to give beyond that, I don't know. So I am single by choice and probably going to stay that way. I mean, never say never, but no, I've got too much things on my plate too. I want to get this book signed. And what guy is, it's so hard for any man to be in my life with my book being my business. Because I do want a relationship in which I can talk about the highs and lows and excitements of the business, not the contents of the book, but the business. You know, I want someone who knows that I went to college for art history, who knows all these little things about me that people are like, really? I never would have guessed. It's because you have one dimension of me. I'm multifaceted like everybody else. So, I'm alone. And with that, I'm going to leave the rest of this Q&A alone. That's that, folks. So that's kind of today's Q&A. Like I said, I still have a lot of questions and answers that I'm going to get to. I just have to make some sense and figure out where everybody's questions and answers are. So I might make an email address and put it in the description to where you can just go ahead and send me. Oh, duh. That's what I can do. So look in the description. There'll be an email address as to where you can send me questions and I will answer them here. So again, thank you guys for all the love, all the support, all the kindness over the past 3 weeks, and thank you for being so awesome and patient during my absence. I just can't tell you how awesome it is. All the really good, and I can't believe I inspire people, and the laughter that you guys say I bring in your life. I mean, you guys don't know how much joy that brings into my life. So thank you guys for all that, all the support, and don't forget to subscribe. Hit the share button, spread me like I spread my legs in the 80s, and don't forget to hit my bells. And we'll see you next time on Cocktails and Rocktails. Oh, cheers, big ears.